Oh, I am Pokey CHATMAN from the United States of America. My first year with Spartak Moscow Region.
Well, Pokey, you've done a lot of coaching in America, and now you're here, coaching in Europe and specifically Russia, and one of the best teams, Spartak Moscow Region. What has that experience been like for you?
It's been a great experience. Shabtai's done a great job in building a successful program, and with that, he has one of the best coaches in Europe, Natalia Hejkova. And then you go to the players, some of the best players in the world. So they made the transition extremely easy for me.
Watching you on the sidelines, it's really interesting. I think you must be the best assistant coach in the world.
Oh, I don't know. Thank you. I must sound like I paid you to say that. But no, it's just I think being a point guard, you look at the game a little bit differently, and you're a lot more emotional. You see things in a different light. So I think it's just my anxiousness and being a point guard by nature.
I know, because I saw you also talking to Kelly Miller when she came off the court in particular. So you actually have more dialogue with the point guards during the games?
I don't think it's by design. It just happens that way. It's just an area of the game that you watch all the time. So I think if you really look at it, I'll probably speak to the point guard position a lot more.
What about the game in Europe overall? How does it compare to the game, the way it's coached and the way that it's played in America in the women's game?
I've been here for a short period of time, but the level of play, it's the best players in the world. And as I hadn't coached in the WNBA, so it's hard to compare professional leagues. But the coaches are wonderful, and that's why there's so many successful teams in so many countries, especially in Russia. You have to play Ekaterinburg in regular season in Russia, and then you get the fate of having to beat them again in EuroLeague, and that just bodes well for the level of competition in Russia.
Your team, Spartak, it must be quite amazing to work with the type of talent that you have with Lauren Jackson, with Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Shegaleva, the list goes on.
Exactly.
What has that experience been like?
You throw in Tina Thompson. And
Tina Thompson.
And the thing about it is they work hard. People think they came out of the birth canal and they were just great basketball players. They forget that they come to practice early, they stay late on day off, they're in the gym getting a lift. So there's a reason why they're some of the best in the world. And they're extremely coachable. At the end of the day, they're true competitors and they want to win. Even if it's a fun game at practice, they want to win.
Now, back to my comment about you being an excellent coach, I've heard through the grapevine that there are some national teams over here in Europe that are kind of interested in talking to you about maybe helping out with their programs. Is there any insight that you can give us into that?
Not any insight, but there's been a couple of people that have approached me, and obviously that probably comes off the recommendation of Natalia. Not to. It's giving me some responsibility. We have a great working relationship. So I think more of it has to do with Nata's recommendation. I don't know. It is a compliment.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about life in Moscow. It's probably not quite like what you're used to. Tell me what it's like living in Moscow.
I think the first thing is I was expecting the winters to be extremely cold. So I think I prepared myself for a negative 15 every day, and it's been relatively decent in terms of the weather. And the thing about it is we're close enough to the city. I'm about a 5-minute walk from the metro, and everything I need is right there. I don't think I will ever get used to the traffic. But it's funny because the Russians, they're okay with, Probka. It'll take you 2 hours to get 20 minutes to a 20-mile drive. But and Shabtai does a really good job of closing the gap for the Americans that are 5,000 miles away. So that helps.
Yeah. So you actually have your own driver as well, if you need it.
Yes. If I drove in Moscow, I would be dead.
Hey, listen, I want to ask you a few fun questions real quick.
Yes.
Tell me, what is the first thing that comes into your mind when you wake up in the morning?
That's an easy one. It's funny you say that because I actually had a dream last night about this game. So, and they were teasing me and said, you eat, sleep, and drink basketball. But it's that time of year and it's what I've been born to do.
Okay, who is the player that you looked up to the most when you were growing up?
Oh, gosh, there were so many. I wasn't fortunate enough to have the WNBA around. And there was this particular point guard, Maurice Cheeks, that played for the Philadelphia 76ers. I loved him. That's why I wanted to wear number 10. So 10 is my favorite number because of him, and he's one of the first that I really started following.
Okay, away from basketball and life in Moscow, do you ever get to the movie theaters?
No, I've been to the ballet, gone to the circus, things of that nature, really fine dining and fun stuff, a couple of concerts. Not the movie theater. I figure, I can go to the movies when I get home in America, so I try to experience Moscow. There's so much there in the city. And on a day off, especially with the weather as being as nice as it has been, it's nice to get down to the center of the city and shop a little bit and experience the sunset.
And what is your favorite site then to go to in Russia?
I
in
just
Moscow?
love having my driver drop me off at Red Square and just walking. You know, maybe having some coffee in the morning time and walking, doing a little shopping at Zoom and Goon, having a nice dinner. Just really easy. I'm laid back.
You know, I mean, Russia and America haven't always been on the best of relations, so it's kind of interesting now that you live in Russia. That must be quite a shock.
You know, when you think about basketball and sport in particular, it bridges so many gaps. You know, from gender gaps, racial divide, why not political and country divide. So I think it's just something that basketball and sports breed, coming together.
Hey, well, listen, it's been great catching up with you, Pokey.
Thank you.
Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.